Hello, and thank you for tuning into this week's episode of Bite Size Cybercrime, the podcast where we discuss cybercrimes and cybersecurity news. This week we'll be discussing a case of reverse phishing. Kind of. It's a type of phishing scam that turns normal phishing on its head. How so? The victims are actually the ones that email the attackers first. So, how is that even possible? This phishing campaign is called Zipline, and it relies on abandoned domains from once legitimate US-based businesses. Many times a business owner will register their website and not really know how to maintain it well. They may even forget about it completely and still keep the site up, dormant but vulnerable. These domains were once owned by legitimate businesses that some people may have used in the past, and so there's not a ton of suspicion there. Sites like Google Maps may even keep the websites linked to a physical storefront location if it's still active, which even further legitimizes the site. It's not like this is exclusively an issue with places that have gone out of business either. Some businesses are still completely open, but just don't maintain their website anymore for whatever reason. In the Zipline campaign, many of the domains were registered between 2015 and 2019. And after they are compromised by hackers, a template is applied to the site that is pretty standard but vaguely professional looking, with pictures of founders on the Contact Us page. These turned out to actually be stock photos of butlers that work in the White House. Most of the targeted sites are industrial manufacturers, but some biotech and pharma companies have also been compromised. So, how are the victims still emailing the attackers in this case? With legitimate websites compromised and up and running, the attackers simply lie in wait for someone to fill out the Contact Us form. Contact Us forms are pretty standard on websites now. I see them pretty much all the time when I need to submit some kind of inquiry, usually either about some kind of volunteer activity, a service I'm interested in, something like that. You generally fill out a form, put your name, email, and the inquiry, and the business will get back to you with their business email eventually. It's just more of a formalized, templatized way to email someone, and it also allows for certain required fields, like phone number if possible, or maybe even address. Of course, in this case, that form is the trap. When you fill out the Contact Us form, it's emailing the hackers first, and since the person browsing the website starts off immediately believing this website to be for an actual business that does exist, they aren't suspicious at all. The hackers will respond, and they'll converse over a period of weeks, building rapport and responding to inquiries professionally, before eventually delivering their weapon, a zip file. A zip file can be anything. It's commonly used over email to package larger files into smaller ones so they can be sent without triggering some kind of file size limit that's pretty common in emails. When opened, the zip file still appears to be legitimate, with PDF and document files attached that pertain to the conversation that's been taking place over the course of several weeks over email. This can be partnership agreements, NDAs, order forms, impact assessments, quotas. But of course, it also contains a malicious LNK shortcut, which launches a PowerShell command when it's clicked. The command then executes another command that's hidden inside of the zip file's raw data, and it runs it entirely in memory, so it's never saved to the disk, making it incredibly hard to detect, as typically malware detection is going to scan things like disk space. Since memory is volatile and changes frequently, it's much harder to scan it accurately. It's even really hard to capture computer forensic data in memory, because you either have to crash the machine in a way that dumps the memory into a file, or actively capture the memory live as it's running, which already requires whatever tool you're using to be pre-installed. The malware sets up long-term persistence on the machine, allowing attackers to access it for potentially multiple purposes. Botnets to be used for things like DDoS attacks, nodes to use for proxies or command and control servers, to mask the true location of attackers, straight up just data stealing, or even selling access to these machines to other hackers for whichever purposes they want to use your compromised machine for. This is absolutely fascinating to me because it really is being patient and playing the long game to manipulate victims in the best possible way into inadvertently installing malware on their machines. It's something that appears so foolproof and benign that it's really surprising. But I will bet this method is incredibly effective for those reasons. A big part of hacking is, of course, social engineering, the ability to manipulate someone into doing something. And, of course, the more you talk to someone, the more you want to trust them, especially if, well, you're the one who reached out to them in the first place. Part of the reason why social engineering is so successful is because we want to trust people and we want to help people. Humans are incredibly social animals, and the more we talk to other humans, the more we trust them. Playing the long game and building a relationship over many weeks is something that takes a long time, a lot of investment, and ultimately is going to pay off quite a lot. This is kind of the opposite of many phishing schemes you see, where the attacker just kind of mass sends out emails and hopes people that are dumb are going to click on it. It's casting a really wide net and just hoping to get something out of it. Where this method, it is precise, it is personal, it relies on mutual trust, and it forces the victim to contact first, which inherently is putting them in a trusting position. So how can you avoid this kind of scheme? Well, if you need to contact a local business, try researching more about them on avenues that are not their website. Reviews for storefronts, for example, will likely be more accurate about what the business is and what its owners look like. Make sure the business itself is still open and active as well. Try looking for news articles about the business, or heck, even their social media pages. More and more businesses are relying on social media than just having their own websites, because it's a lot easier to manage an Instagram and a Facebook than it is a whole website. Generally, just make sure other information you can find about the business is adding up with whatever's on their website. If it doesn't quite add up, the website may be outdated, which, of course, could mean it's compromised, but could also mean they're not really checking it. Also, generally be careful when downloading any attachments from emails. If you see files that shouldn't belong pop up on your machine, do not click on them and try to look up if anyone else has seen this kind of issue and see how it can possibly be removed before it runs on your machine. Thank you for tuning into this week's episode of Bite-Sized Cybercrime, and another thank you to Checkpoint.com, Dark Reading, and the Register for information about this type of new phishing attack. I always like researching episodes about novel types of attacks, and I hope you do too. And until next time, stay secure.